the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the amazing. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing today? Guys, sound off in the chat as you make your way in. Giovanni Fontes, special shout out to you, my friend. Enjoy your workday. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm reporting to you live from my mom's basement because the market is that bad. It's not that it's that bad, it's just boring. And we don't like boring markets, so we move out of our apartment and back into mom's basement. Trying a new webcam thing. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Maybe I gotta switch my light. Let me switch my light. Hang on. No, that makes me look blue. That makes me look orange. Okay, that looks good. That Pulse Play said, sup JJ, hope you had a blessed day. I did, actually. Ray up another 40%. If you know, you know. Have a look. Nice. Let's go check it out. Viewer discretion is advised. This is a low liquidity coin. Up 32%, actually. You lied. You said 40. I was trying to go for the other rate. I thought you said 20, but 32%. Dang, this looks nice. So we charted this a while ago. There's a clear structure, lower trend line. This does not always happen. Usually if there's a structure, depending on the coin, sometimes it breaks, sometimes it obeys. This is actually, stuff like this is what got me my title of the Fractal Farquaad, if you are not familiar. But, I mean, this thing kind of shreds so far. It looks really good. You got just a kind of a lengthening play out of previous liquidity cycles. And what's interesting is you get all of this move and a ton of volume. If you were to take that and evenly distribute it, clearly the move would look a little more drawn out. So this time around, our liquidity might be even smaller, but because there's more conviction, people are holding, then you get bigger moves. That's my guess, honestly, if we're being completely real. But it's a cool project. Take a look at it if you're interested. Bitcoin currently trading at $67,373. Tom Saltzcoat said, lower the price goes, later JJ streams. To my defense today, YouTube was down. There was a global outage, like across the planet. So I was unable to meet my stream obligations any sooner. Is this too much light on my face? That's way too much light on my face. We'll go with that. Sure. I don't know. You guys tell me if you want to see my beautiful face a little clearer. I'll fix it. Mom, meatloaf. Tom Selleck said, what trend line broke in DXY? Yes, sir. It is the DXY. Glad you caught that. DXY broke the 15-year trend line. We knew this. We broke below it. We actually gapped below it. Came up, filled that gap, tried to play as support, lost the support again, and have rejected. Harsh rejection right here, which happened today. Now it's curling back up for another one. Obviously, 15-year-old trend line, it's going to take more than 1, 2, 3 days rejection, breaking, what have you. Wah, wah, wah. YouTube wasn't working. I want solutions, not problems. I was going to stream on Twitch, actually. Like, I was actually going to stream on Twitch. I do have a Twitch. I've only streamed there like 3 or 4 times. But I do have one. So there is a backup plan in place. There's also a Kick, and I can stream on X. So if that ever happens, if the global powers that be decide that YouTube doesn't need to exist anymore, I'll probably stream on Twitter next, or X, because I'm monetized there already. So I've done it before. I can't figure out how to do it again. I don't know why. It doesn't work through OBS. Anyways, DXY rejected the 15-year trend line. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's look at Bitcoin. $67,402.36. We are breaking our baby trend line. Not too much going on here. We just got a consolidation. Bear pennant, if you will. Whatever you want to call it. It's sloppy, kind of all over the place. Obviously, if this was a trend line that we were concerned with, we would have broken below it. So I'll leave it on there. We do have a big expiration this week, allegedly, from one of the viewers. I have not corroborated that myself, but we take data and sometimes we put it on the charts. We can fact check it, I suppose, on Friday if anything happens. We do got, see, money flow flip-flopped for a brief moment, but it was very, very brief. That is the first sign of life that we've seen since mid-January. So that's good. But right now, I want to see us get back above 70K. We're trading around 67.5. Not really showing any signs of life besides the wicks, but there's wicks on both sides. Can we get a nice push to the upside next? Or are we going to continue to linger to the downside? Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Oops. Switch to the 12-hour. Okay. We've been liquidating some bears today, I see. So up above, we got 67,745. A lot of people coming out the woodwork recently talking about, where did that go? Talking about their like crazy bearish targets for Bitcoin. 67,745. There we go. And that makes me think that we're probably going to go up a little bit here. Strictly based on sentiment. I'm going to go right here for this next one, 70.10. And then down below, I had a crazy morning. There was so much stuff going on. Down below, I've got 66,818. It is the Chinese New Year, Year of the Horse. Yesterday or today, I don't remember. I think it's like a month-long thing. It's some crazy, crazy long amount of time. 65,222. Oh, we got to do a poll before I forget. I have so many good polls tonight. I'm actually super stoked for this. The first one, we're gonna start light with the first one, and I'm gonna save the best one for last. I've never been excited for a poll before, but I thought of some really good ones. I was listening to all kinds of stuff today. I'm in the office now at work, so I'm gonna have a lot more in my brain for the streams for the foreseeable future. Is the 15-year DXY support officially dead? Yes, dollar is toast. No. Expecting a fake out. I can't type, okay. Cash is still king for now. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, is the 15-year DXY support officially dead? Your answers are yes, the dollar is toast, no, expecting a fake out, or cash is still king for now. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Tom Selleck's code. Yep. Philly said, come on, dude, I'm watching Tim Pool. I'm not sure who that is. Tom Selleck's code said, well, I read that already. Pickle Rick said, I wonder if someone's mom will let me move into their basement. You do have to find a mom with a basement. Some houses don't have basements. Okay. So we talked about Bitcoin a little bit. We got our liquidation points mapped out. Our RSI got a bearish crossover the moving average on Sunday. We're still battling with that, still below it. Red dot in the momentum wave as well, pushing to the downside on Market Cipher. We'll see if we can climb out of this anytime soon. But for now, looking a little bleak. Bitcoin dominance 58.54. We have continued to fall after rejecting 59.5 back here, which is good. Let's see if we can break below this current local low of around 58.5. That's actually perfect. It's a nice psychological level. So let's get below that next, and then 58, all psychological at the moment. It is the Bitcoin dominance, so there's not really going to be anything in depth on this as far as support and resistance goes. Calvin said for the chat, question for the chat, do you think Bitcoin can go as low as 48K? Philly said JJ Tim Pool is Tim Cast. I don't know who that is. Also, there's some serious stuff going on in Argentina. You said that. You said that in the Discord. You said that in the Discord, Philly. What are you, a sleeper cell? You keep saying the same thing. That's creepy. Did you just copy paste that? What's going on in Argentina? Let us know. It's Philly thinks Bitcoin's definitely going to 48. I mean, I'm not going to discount it at this point. Like anyone can say any number, and I'm going to just take it at face value. There's really nothing is off the table anymore. I'm still holding out hope for this 51.5 to hold. If we do even go that much lower, I have noticed a bear complacency, if you will, ever since we kind of started to stagnate where we're at. All of a sudden, everyone's super duper bearish. They're totally fine with being super duper bearish, and they're pretty much like out of the market, and they don't really care to even talk about it. JY's Adventure said, it's a real bear market. Another day the coins can't go up. I've accepted my fate. That is another beautiful bottoming sign, guys. I'm not going to say it's going to go up only from this point forward, but it very much seems to me like we have reached peak exhaustion, and we're going to get a little bit of relief. If for nothing more, liquidity. Liquidity grab and then continue to the downside. Tom Selleck Scout said it could go lower than 48K, but I think 50 support is very lowest we go, but also the bottom might be in. Yeah, there's too many variables at this point. Everything's it's just one big mess. Bitcoin can go tomorrow. That's what I will say. That's my price target. My price target for Bitcoin is tomorrow. I'm not going to give you guys a number. Anyways, let's move on. ETH down 0.17% on the day, currently trading at $1,988.34. Can we get back above 1997 and evidently back above 2K? That is probably the most important thing we want to watch for ETH right now. We got a bullish crossover the moving average on the RSI today, which is good. Can we continue to show that bullish momentum and maybe ramp up the price action here, get a little more strength, a little more conviction, a little more strength in the price movement? Tom Selleck Scout said, Philly, do you work for a certain government organization that also created Bitcoin? JY's Adventure said, do you see the robots at the China event? The ones doing like the Kung Fu fight? Yeah. Cirque du Soleil is probably pooping their pants right now. AI and robots taking our jobs for real. Rip cashiers, your time has come. Cashiers. I've been doing self-checkout for forever. What do you mean rip cashiers? Those are people doing stock now. I think my favorite time is coming where like it's gonna be like Detroit Become Human, but at first the robots are gonna be kind of stupid. Because everyone's going to put way too much stock in this. They're going to be like, oh, my robots do everything in my business. And everything, like you're going to walk inside and everything's going to look like crap. Because the robot's going to like do one wrong thing and that's just going to like domino effect and the robot's going to start to hallucinate. It's going to be like, I stacked these chairs upside down. And the owner's going to be like, we don't have any chairs. And the robot's like, I borrowed some from the neighbor. And it's like a school. All the kids are like standing outside because there's no chairs. The robots are all taking the chairs. Just a big hive mind tech hallucination. So there's gonna be some weird event like that. I swear, I can see it now. Okay, ETH 0.22 in the red. Like I said, let's get above 2K. See if we can show some strength. Green dot in a moment, the point to the upside. We got a couple of signs of life here as well with the money flow flipping positive just for a microsecond. Solana down 0.58%. We're very sideways, very lingering. Last time we were sideways lingering, we got a little bit of a downturn. ETH, yes, same thing, sideways linger down. We did a sideways linger up right here, so maybe we'll do one of those. I would not be surprised to see this play out. We've actually tracked something like this on ETH several times. I don't remember if it ended up going down or up. JY's Adventure said, they are the first ones to go. There are still cashiers, people checking you out. Then it's the next job after that. What jobs are safe from the robots? I mean, I feel like it's going to be cheaper no matter what to have a human working on a job site. Robots can't walk in mud. They can't get sprayed with water. You know, there's too much BS that goes along with being a contractor. Anything that I feel, any kind of trades job, I think is going to be safe for quite some time. And those will probably be the first ones to like be very heavily anti-robot to some degree of success, because usually the boss at the carpentry place or the plumber's place is a blue collar guy. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Factory jobs, unfortunately, might be screwed unless they're like really strong union. Okay, we got 3 votes on the poll. We got 9 people watching, guys. Let's get some more votes. I'm gonna cycle through these polls. We got a lot of polls, and my favorite one is the very last one. I have 1, 2, 3 more to go. The third one's the best. The next one's gonna be really good as well, though. Let's see. JY's Adventure said that settles the trade jobs are going quick. Probably. You stand up against the system, you get wrecked. But who's going to actually come and get their hands dirty? You know what I mean? Tom Selkscout said robots were a trip, but it's pre-programmed, so not that impressive. Boston Dynamics showed theirs as well, and I think theirs is better. I wish they were their own company and not owned by Hyundai. Dude, I remember talking about the ISM PMI and being all hyped about that, and then seeing that 20% of the data that they report, like that they use for the measurement, is employment, and it's manufacturing. So manufacturing employment is going to be affected heavily by robotics. And the day after that, Boston Dynamics is like, we're sending a fleet of Atlas to the Hyundai factory. And I was like, oh shoot, I literally was just talking about that. So I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. Tom Selkscoat said the issue is we can't all be plumbers, so unless they do universal basic high income, and I mean high, it's gonna get ugly. What is high? What do you think is universal basic high income? Tufix said AI says trade jobs are the safest from being replaced. Ooh, I like that. Let's go. I'm kind of like, I'm in trades, but I also do like a bunch of stuff that AI could replace as well, because I basically run the whole business. So what's nice is I'm pretty much the only employee, and I can kind of choose what jobs of mine get replaced by AI, but I'm still plugging the data into the AI, so it just makes my job way too easy. I feel bad bragging, but I like my job. I've been working there for over a decade, so what are you going to do? It's probably not safe, to be completely honest. Okay. What is the least safest? I would say anything on the computer. What's cracking me up is that AI seems to be the most dangerous as far as jobs go, replacing jobs, to the people who built the AI. Like, all the software companies are getting shafted right now. Look at, is there a... yeah, I want like a ETF. Let's just go Adobe. Adobe is a brilliant example of this. Look at Adobe. AI comes out, and Adobe just starts plummeting. And it's because they, for whatever reason, they decided to ditch lifetime licenses. I would have been totally fine paying you $300-400 for one lifetime license of Photoshop. Now I have to pay them $30 a month, and that drives me crazy. So as soon as AI comes out, if I can just pay AI $30 and then say, build me a bootleg version of Photoshop, and the AI is like, okay, here you go, and now I have free Photoshop forever. Why the hell am I going to pay Adobe $30 a month? Get wrecked. The companies that are dying are the greediest companies. That's my opinion. And they deserve it. Tom Selkscout said, I think 150K probably. Assuming prices drop based on 150K. What? Okay, assuming prices drop based on productivity gains, but like people who are making 300K are going to be jobless. So 150K is a 50% pay cut. I think 150K is insane. I think they would never do that. That would be way too inflation. I'm still shocked by the sea dance videos I see. See, I guess I'm not really concerned about anything like that because, as far as Hollywood goes, there's no continuity. And I have not seen somebody. What I want to see, in order for me to go, wow, in order for me to be really shocked, obviously the quality's great, but I want to see a full production. Even if it's just like 40-minute like episode of a show. I want to see somebody put together a full production. And then I will be maybe impressed. I've seen some sick AI music videos. Those kind of shock me. Let's see. Tufix said AI is definitely a worry, asking Grok 1 million jobs will be lost by 2030 just in Australia alone. Australia's not a real place. Get out of here. Jay Wesmager said, sometimes I say, okay, AI may have gone too far. It's too good. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that much is obvious. And again, the funniest thing to me is all the people who created this. They're like, AI is the greatest thing in the world, but also pay for our software. And then you could just ask the AI, like, how do I not pay for the software? Can you make me a version of this? And the AI is like, yep, here you go. And the companies that like run all of this stuff are like, wait a minute, you can't do that. And then you're already gone. Like, you've already ran away at that point. Jay Wesmacher, yep. Philly said all programs went from one-time pay to monthly subscriptions. That's what I'm talking about. It's they went maximum greed. You used to be able to pay for a lifetime license, and now you can't. Piracy is ticking up because people don't want to pay for your stupid monthly garbage, and AI is just decimating these companies, and it cracks me up. It really does. Total 3. Actually, did we look at Solana? We did not. Let's go back to Solana. I'm sorry. We're getting sidetracked. We're talking way too in-depth about AI, but it is fun. I thoroughly enjoy the conversation. Solana, $84.72. We got above 82.47, and then we seemingly are holding that as support, which is actually quite exciting. Let's see. We got a little double bottom action, and then we came up here, and we're getting a little micro double bottom right here. Are we going to hold, or are we just kind of plinking out until we break below that? It looks like we are potentially rejecting that moving average in the RSI. Red dot in the momentum wave pointed the downside. A lot more signs of life here on Solana as far as money flow goes compared to ETH and Bitcoin. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, my number one concern here is getting back above our lower trend line. And I call it lower trend line because it was the lower trend line of this broader trend right here. Beautiful trend. We tracked this. It was great. Broke above, used it as support, and got an all-time high. It's pretty awesome. Came back down, bounced off of that. Beautifully established another trend line where we put in a lower high, but still pretty decent high. And then we broke down from there. We came back in. We bounced off of the neckline from this inverse head and shoulder. Got a rejection of our upper trend line. And then broke below our lower trend line. So now, after all that said and done, we are sitting at 84.76, hoping we can bounce off of this 82.47 support and get back above our lower trend line, which would be around 98, 99, $100. Big psychological level for Solana. We'll keep an eye on it. Total 3, up actually 0.08% on the day. We got a little bounce for ants in the making. Hopefully we're manifesting. My uber bearish guess of 7-Eleven kind of intact, you know. I don't know, we went quite significantly below it. If this is more than 2%, then I'm going to call it a bust. I think I already decided, yeah, 10%. Yeah, I think my guess for bottom is incorrect at this point. It's safe to say. But we're back holding that as support. We've rejected this trend line, which is a wishy-washy trend line. I think there's 2 points of confluence. One of them is a wick. So we have rejected it. It's around 740 billion. We're using 711, 710 as support. Can we use that as enough support to get back above 740, 750? Time will tell. We'll keep an eye on that as well. We do have kind of I would call this a consolidation right below our moving average on the RSI. Red dot in the momentum wave pointed to the downside. Positive money flow though. Again, no, it's total 3, so I don't know if this applies specifically. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. I'm excited about the positive money flow. Let's see if we can climb up out of here. It is up 0.89% on the day, currently trading at 28.35. Holding 28, actually, it seems like 28 seems to be like a little interim floor for the price right here. It's kind of doing something similar to Solana, where it had a little double bottom here, came up above, maybe testing the neckline. I think that's what we called it, actually. We said that this was I think it established on Solana first. You had support, break, resistance, and that established a Adam, Eve, double bottom. Now we have since broken above and double bottom tested support, that neckline, if you will. Can we bounce off of that and continue the upside? Same thing on Solana. I might be able to fudge this with an angle. Yeah, I'll take it. We'll take all the copium we can get. We got double bottom, Adam, Eve. Hopefully a test of that neckline and continuation in the upside. SNEC is up, or down, I'm sorry, 0.09%. Currently trading at 0.00058. Can we get back above 6? We did for a brief moment on Saturday. Have since broken below and rejected 6. So getting back above that's going to be a big deal. We get a green dot in the momentum wave point to the upside and a potential, nope, failed bullish cross. So a rejection of the moving average on the RSI. Let's see if we can continue to see further downside, or if we are going to start forming a proper parabola return to glory. Midnight down 0.65%. Broke back above 54.52. Looks like it may be retesting that as support. Continue to the upside. We got a little triple bottom action going on right there. RSI looking like it's rejecting so far that moving average. And green dot in the momentum wave point to the upside. XRP up 0.2% on the day. This one's got a similar setup to Solana and Cardano, with what I'm going to call support, break, resistance, Adam, Eve, double bottom, break, support. Are we going to continue to the upside? Time will tell. We'll keep an eye on it. It looks good though. RSI dancing around the moving average. Oh, this one actually looks like it got a break and a bounce. You got to zoom way in, but you do see a clear break and bounce. Outside of that, green dot on the momentum wave, positive money flow. XRP might lead the way for the altcoins, which would be really interesting and kind of hilarious. Imagine XRP flipping ETH. You know how pissed everyone would be? It would be really funny though. Tom Selleck Scout said it can't do that and probably a ways out to take 40-minute production, just like your software example. We are still a ways away from just making software. Arrest CZ, arrest Charles H. Calvin said, in my opinion, greed took over after the pandemic crash handouts. Oh yeah. Jay was Avenger said XRP Army is the ultimate cult. I wouldn't be surprised. I gotta say, and I've said it 1,000 times, you guys are probably so sick of me talking about it. XRP's comeback is the funniest thing in the world to me, because everyone was so mean to them. And they, look at them. They're up 5.4% on the week as well. On the other coin, we got Doge and ADA and Bitcoin Cash showing a little more life than that. But everything else looks like crap compared to XRP for the past week. That's just funny to me. I think XRP flipping at least ETH would be some form of poetic justice for all the shit that they had to deal with. Regardless of how you feel about the coin, the people, you know, I think they deserve that win, and I think us putting up with everything else, it would just be fun to watch. I think we deserve a show. So, I don't know. They have all the normies. It doesn't help that they're like, how many XRP do you need to be a millionaire? All over TikTok, and they're like, you only need 200 XRP to become a millionaire. And everyone's like, oh, that's only $350. I'm going to go buy 200 XRP right now. And then everybody does that. I have 200 XRP, so I'm going to be fine within the next decade, I presume. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to any of their TA. They're like, astrologically, it seems as if the bull market may be delayed slightly because the sun is in Venus's retrograde. Uranus. Cheers, guys. Happy Tuesday. You know, I always talk about how Tuesday sucks, and I believe it. Think about your BMNR bag, bro. I did actually. I fully committed, and I did buy some BMNR today at a decent price too, I might say. I'm Quite proud of that. Good price. Maybe what if Tom Lay just pivots, full ports into XRP? That would be so fun. Oh man, that would be great. Him and Sailor, they're just like, F it. XRP is the real Bitcoin. Brad Garlinghouse is Satoshi. Oh man. And then Brad Garlinghouse rips his mask off, and it's actually shit, what's his name? It's actually Richard Hart. Oh man. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Let's see. We have 8 votes. I'm gonna end the poll so that we can get on to the next one. This next one is my favorite. My second favorite. The last one's my favorite. I said it already. Yeah, XRP looks awesome right now, dude. It's up 0.36. This thing's gonna lead the way. It's gonna lead the alt season. So I asked you guys, is the 15-year DXY support officially dead? 38% of you guys said no, expecting a fake out. 38% of you guys said cash is still king for now. 24% said yes, the dollar is toast. We got a total of 8 votes. I appreciate you guys. Next poll. This one's a good one. Next poll. Which is most likely regarding AI? Overhyped? Overvalued? Dangerous? To the creators, Frankenstein. Frankenstein. That's hard to fit in there. The final invention. Or beyond our comprehension. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, which is most likely regarding AI? Is it overhyped and overvalued? Is it dangerous to the creators, a la Frankenstein? What we were just talking about. Like, create this software for me so I don't have to pay this monthly fee. Is it the final invention? Is it going to basically take over everything and every day? Or is it beyond our comprehension, the benefits that we are about to receive? Thy bounty, thy Christ, thy AI. Amen. Let me know what you think. J. Resvich said Grok helps you with coding now. Tom Selleck said rug pulled by the lizard people. Should have bought more XRP. J. Resvich said coding will become easy AF, even for peanut brains like me. I think it already has. Vibe coding. I remember everyone was like, I'm a vibe coder. That was funny. Tom Selleck said JY, you won't even need to code. You will just tell it what you want, but it's not coming as soon as people think. Adam Salem said, do you think the dot ecosystem provides true utility? So Polkadot, I think, is in the same boat as all the other L1s right now. There's leading L1s like Ethereum and Solana, and then there's the ones that are doing very poorly, like Cardano, Sui, Avalanche, who else? Stellar. So I think that it just needs to, I think Polkadot needs to build out a broader ecosystem that people want to use. Because right now, everyone wants to go to Ethereum and Solana because those are the only two that have deep pockets, high volume, high conviction. And unfortunately, these other smaller chains are plagued by scammers. And it's just way too easy for someone to go, well, I don't even want to chance that. I'm just going to go over to ETH or Solana and like significantly reduce my risk of being scammed. So I don't know. It's a mess right now. I think it does provide true utility. Am I going to invest in that utility? Maybe as a gamble, as a long-term play? Probably not. Billy said, YouTube seems to be fixed. Billy, are you okay? Don't forget Chainlink. I don't think Chainlink has an ecosystem. It's just a useless coin. Jay Wesveger said, we are entering the singularity, and most just go about their day like it's the same old, same old. I mean, again, and I've said this about the presidents before, but I feel this about AI as well. Until my day-to-day life changes, positively or negatively from this, I could care less. I really could. And that includes people that I care about. So I'm not like, oh, well, I don't care if my neighbor loses their job because of AI. Obviously, that would affect my day to day life. That sucks. I don't want my neighbor being home all day. They're loud as hell. You know what I mean? Philly said, JJ, why ask if I'm okay for saying YouTube seems to be fixed? Yes, YouTube is clearly fixed. I'm live right now. uh, I love you, Philly. I hope you're doing good, my friend. I hope you're doing good. H bar. H bar looks, dude, H bar looks great here. Oddly enough, we talked about this pattern for everything else. H bar seems to be the only one that has like a significant gap in between what I would call the Adam Eve double bottom section, even though it's not an Adam Eve double bottom here, and the neckline section. Look at this gap. There's either it fell harder and more than everything else, or it's just recovering better. Either way, if you would have bought this dip, I think you'd be up significantly higher than if you bought any other dip right now. 30%, that's pretty crazy. So maybe it just fell a lot harder, but the recovery looks good. There's a lot of people talking about their deals right now. They got FedEx like added to their, I don't know, advisory committee or something like that. Positive money flow on Market Cipher. That's a big deal. Green dot, bullish crossover the moving average and the RSI. It's looking like upside. It really is. SWE, not a whole lot going on. I want to see SWE back above $1. I'm going to give a quick rundown of the next few charts. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. Ondo actually looks kind of similar to H bar. It's a little bit higher than the bottom. If you would have bought the bottom, you'd be up 22%. So it's doing pretty good, actually. Probably dropped more, but we'll see. Arrow looks like crap, actually. I want to see this thing recover better. I think that there's a lot of flip-flopping going around on base tokens, and I don't know if Arrow moved, but base is a little sus right now, a little bit sus. But Arrow's down 0.54. Stellar. Stellar looked okay for a minute, but now it's kind of falling to the wayside. You got the Adam Eve, you got that retest. We could still try to justify it. I could try to snake oil sell it as bullish, but time will tell. See if you get a bullish crossover the moving average on the RSI here, and your money flow is positive, so there's potential. Polkadot up 0.82% on the day, similar to Stellar. You got this fading, falling to the wayside trend line. Adam Eve double bottom, breakout retest, snake oil bullishness. And when I say snake oil bullishness, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Fake out, not fake out. Farcoin, I don't know what the hell fake out is. Farcoin down 1.32%, rejected 21.89. Getting back above that is going to be a big deal. You're kind of a midpoint right here. Can we get some support at 19? Getting above 20 is a big deal. Kind of sad that we got below that. Rejected the moving average on the RSI. Avalanche. Avalanche, I'm going to take my time with the link, and then we're going to skip on to the stocks and stuff. Avalanche, we got support, 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 break, resistance. Long time broken. Now we're testing it as support. Can we hold that support and continue to the upside? Again, it is falling to the wayside, though. It's on a little slight angle. We got a red dot on the momentum wave, pointing to the downside. Money flow is positive for a hot second, back to negative, though. But that breath of life shows that there are signs. When we're looking like a rejection at that moving average in the RSI. So let's see what happens. Liquidity is dried up on Avalanche. Chainlink, $8.90. Get above $9 is going to be a big deal. So let's see that happen before we start talking about anything else. This one's really flatlining. It's really quite a stretch to call this support, resistance, and then support again. That being said, I could maybe go for a little fugly inverse head and shoulder triple bottom setup. Or just this triple bottom setup. I don't know. You can't even make a shape out of this. You really got to like zoom way the hell out and then go, oh, it looks like a rising wedge. You know, it just doesn't look like there's a lot going on. Not a whole lot going on upstairs. Gold. Gold is up 0.81% on the day. Now the fractal fallen from grace, it seems. We've got hump, lump, and bump. Hump, lump, and bump. Kind of, you know, I don't know. It's melting is what I would call it. And with that final bump, are we going to get a rump to the stump? You lump. I don't know. 49.18. Can we get back above 5K? And are we going to start to see some upside before Thursday, Friday, or maybe on Thursday, Friday? I don't know. If we go sideways or up, I would be happy from here. If we go down, I'm going to say that it's a bum fractal, but we'll have to see what we look like Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Monday, I suppose. Look what, wow, look at this. What is that? Sunday's at futures, 19. Yeah, that's got to be futures open. Okay, I understand. Philly said, JJ, you dumbass. The only thing that was broken on YouTube was the homepage. Everything else was working, including streaming. That's just for you, Philly. There was a global outage. None of my stuff worked at all. I couldn't even get on it. I kept loading it, and it just showed nothing. Isolated incident. We've just confirmed that Philly was the hacker. The call is coming from inside the house. If you guys are curious, I am in Mom's basement at the moment. We got the bed on the floor. It's a chill time. Market's bleak. All right, here we go. We got 6 votes in the poll. So far, you guys are saying it's beyond our comprehension. No one's saying overhyped, overvalued. Interesting. I think it's dangerous to the creators. I really do. They might put fail safes in place, though. I guess it's all going to depend on the user interface of these apps that get developed. Because open source software exists, like OpenOffice or GIMP for photo editing. And, you know, people still pay for Photoshop and Microsoft. So, who knows? Joe Wesovich said, didn't have to call him a dumbass, Philly. That's just Philly. That's just the way that he talks. I'm also in Mom's basement, eating burgers I made in the air fryer and living off top ramen. Hell yeah. Word of advice with the top ramen. Buy, like, you can either buy this little meatballs, little air fried meatballs, or I like to get chicken cordon bleu. It sounds so weird, but I like to get chicken cordon bleu, bake it, and then I make just the microwave ramen, and I slice up the chicken cordon bleu and toss the slices into the ramen. Ooh. Oh, it's so good. Jay Wesventure, yep. Mr. Roberts said, hey, JJ, hey, good people. How you doing, Mr. Roberts? Cheers. Happy Tuesday, my friend. Hope we're doing well. Tubbs Elkscoat said, yeah, JJ is a smartass, not a dumbass. All right. Let's see. Oh, I got Girl Scout cookies, too. That was pretty sick. But yeah, let's see if the gold fractals continues to play out. It is up 0.8% today. See, what's I think the most confusing thing to me. Look at that. We got a green dot. And it's pointing to the upside. Last time we had that, we got a nice climb out at the very least. Let's look right here. That's probably the best example. We climbed out sideways, got a second bottom, and then I don't know, man. I don't know how it's gonna play out. I'm excited to see. I am. Joe Esmer said that sounds tasty, JJ. It's so good. I don't know what it is, and I am, unfortunately, I am the kind of weeb that eats my ramen with chopsticks. I am that guy. I'm not even joking. It's very fun. Like if you're bored and gaining weight, highly recommend, because then you'll like play with your food and you'll associate eating with fun, and then you'll gain even more weight. It's a little American trick for you, for all you foreigners in the chat. Silver's up 1.3% on the day, currently trading at 74.45. Are we going to break back above 75 psychological level and continue to the upside, or are we going to continue to melt to the downside? Target before something happens, but what? That was 52. This was way back. Who knows? Maybe back here. It might have been down even further, but I doubt it. 77 was kind of like my top guess for silver way back when we broke this, but it went way above that. Hit that. It actually hit Saeed. So Saeed came in and said 115 before big consolidation. We put it on a chart, and that was like way down here. And we went all the way up to 126 and then consolidated. So 115 would have been a beautiful take profit level. So we got to give Saeed props for that. Excellent call, my friend. As of right now, looking like a triple bottom if I tried to sell it bullish. But again, it does kind of look like it's starting to like deflate and lose a little bit of its life. Can we make it into a falling wedge, maybe? Falling wedge is usually pretty bullish. There's potential there for a falling wedge. I'm gonna leave this on here. We're not gonna get married to it yet. Right now, it just kind of looks like a descending channel. But we'll keep our eye on it. Descending channel can be a little bullish too, depending on who you ask. I don't know. Let's see if we can get back above 75 for silver. I'm 50-50 on the whole situation. Do we have bullish div? Let's see. We got high or low there. And lower low here. There is bullish divergence present on a 4-hour time frame for silver. Tom Selleck Scout said if DXY rejects, you better believe gold goes up. I hope so. It's very confusing though, because the DXY looks like shit right now. Gold's not doing nothing. Mr. Barber said, JJ, you ever get between a rock and a real hard place at work where you think ass to mouth code wasn't followed for 20 years? And now it's a scope in your hands and you're like, do I follow code or status quo? Now it's a scope in my hands. Ass to mouth code. What is ASTM code? I guess it depends. So my number one priority at work would be safety. I have never been in that. I have a simple but shitty decision to make. Well, hit us with it, man. There's no, this is all hypothetical. But I would go for safety. Like no matter what, if it's something stupid like a quota thing and just the way that the part is made or something like that, all I can think of is a factory, and I wouldn't really give a shit. But if it's a safety thing and somebody could get hurt, I would go for safety every time. Lunar Entity said the quarterly wick on silver is horrifying. Nobody cares about that. It's all made up anyways. Okay, DXY rejected the 15-year trend line, the 15-year legacy trend line that we've been observing. Since we have not been observing it for this long, but we've been observing it, and it has been around since April 2011. 15 years. I go over this a million times a day, but forgive me. Double bottom, 2011, 2012. Double bottom, 2021, 2022. Double bottom, 25, 26. And then a failure right here. Look at this beautiful trend line right there. Let me zoom in, show you guys. This is how big of a deal this is. Keep in mind, 15-year trend line. You got bounce, bounce, break, rejection. Bounce, bounce, rejection. Failure to even reject a third time. But it did bounce, and then that instant plummeted right below that 15-year legacy trend line. So now we're all caught up with that 15-year legacy trend line break. You got on the daily a gap for that break. It literally gapped down. That's how big of a deal that break was. The DXY. And then it went down even further, found support around like 95, 96. Did a little fake out. You broke above, retested, confirmed, and then failed to continue. And now you're rejecting again. If this was any kind of coin, or if I was trading this, I would sell it and I would short it. Now, would that be the right move? I have no idea. But this looks like a bad chart. It looks like it's going to go down. That can change with policy. It is not a coin. It is not a stock. So it does not abide by TA rules as far as trading goes in any way, shape, or form. Policy change can flip the dollar whatever way they want to flip it. Waterfly said, way past my bedtime, but dropping by to say hello. How you doing, Mr. Waterfly? Happy Tuesday, my friend. Cheers. We're in Mom's basement today. We got the mattress on the floor. We got the desk chair. I'm not even joking. I think I actually have that chair, but like a cheaper version of it that I got from Family Dollar like 14 years ago. We got the wood paneling. When I own a home, I will purposely put wood paneling in it somewhere. Maybe my office. Am I even going to have an office? I don't know. Maybe my first home is going to be a box. Cheers, guys. Happy Tuesday. All right, how many votes do we got in the poll? We have 8 votes. I'll take it. We're ending the poll. We're going to move on to poll number 3. This one's a good one as well. First, though, I asked you guys which is most likely regarding AI. 49% of you guys said it's beyond our comprehension. 25% of you guys said it's the final invention. So I'm going to go with like 74% of you guys said it's like this divine being. 13% of you guys said overhyped and overvalued, and 13% said dangerous to the creators, a la Frankenstein. I think all of them might be true. All of those things might be true, which would be a trip, wouldn't it? All right, next. This one, not nearly as fun as the last one. The last one being the fourth and final one that you guys don't get to see yet. S&P 500 at 6,900-ish. Where do we end the week? 7K plus. Back to 67. Correction. Or choppy sideways. Choppy sideways boringness. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys S&P 500 at 6,900-ish. Where do we end the week? 7K or more. Back to 6,700 correction or choppy sideways boringness. Let me know what you think. Once we get done with that, we will go on to the fourth and final, my favorite, the one that I've been looking forward to since the beginning of the stream, poll. I've been really hyping it up. Lunar Entity said, if you look at Ethereum's... Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, we still haven't heard Mr. Roberts' shitty decision. You gotta hit us with it, Mr. Roberts. You can't leave us hanging now. You can be vague. Lunar Entity said, if you look at Ethereum's 3-month chart, silver potentially could reverse that wick. Never seen the metals pull a second top, though. What does that have to do with Ethereum? Let's go take a look at ETH. I guess on a not disgustingly hoarded, messy chart, like the one that we normally look at. On the 3-month. What do you mean higher? Like that? And then what does silver look like in comparison? Wow. I mean, what if it just fills that wick, though? What if it goes... Whoop? I don't know. Look, this is crazy. This one, this being the same size as this, that sucks so bad. It's pretty cool to see it making more moves more frequently, though. That 2021 wick for ETH. Okay, let's go back there. 2021 wick. Okay. Oh, yes. I see it. So you're talking about this. This explosive... I can't draw. This explosive move up. The retrace, and then the continuation. Yeah. I mean, there would have to be some pretty hefty news. But... that is pretty epic. I feel like silver could do that. Let's actually... can we copy that? I bet you we can pull that fractal. We might have to do a little bit of stretching, but let's see what we can... let's see what we can do here. I'm going to take the whole thing. Copy, delete, silver, paste. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, it doesn't look as good because you can't see the wick, but you get the gist of it, right? Is it going to be hard to squeeze? No, it squeezes quite well, actually. That's what she said. Ooh. Okay. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Bear with me. Did I lie? Is it actually taking forever for me to squeeze it down? There we go. Okay. I think we finally achieved something. Okay. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's make it less transparent just so we can see it. And oh, that looks perfect. I mean, I feel like that could play out, right? Is this stupid to leave this on the chart? So then that would put the top around 133. I'll leave it on there. It's on the 3-month. We won't even see it, hardly. Okay. I mean, let's see if that plays out, man. That'd be crazy. Tom Salt Scout said CPI on Friday. Thank you, friend. Guys, keep that on your calendars. Put a reminder on your phone, whatever you got to do. CPI comes out on Friday. This Consumer Price Index. It's going to sway the Fed one way or another, potentially, if it's like crazy. Okay, so we got the fractal. Let's see if that plays out. That'd be pretty cool. If it puts an ETH, I'll be impressed. That would be sick. So we'll keep an eye on silver. 75 is our first hurdle. Then we can see if we can get above 80 and start talking about some bullish breakouts. At least it's not a bear flag. That's our best case right now is descending channel. I'm okay with that. I can live with the descending channel. DXY we talked about rejecting that 15-year trend line. It's currently sitting at 97.23. How low can she go? Can she go low anymore? Time will tell. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. Michael Saylor serving up at the drive-thru. You know how it is. Down 3.89% on the day, consolidating. I think we had an acquisition reported today. Who shared it? I think Tom Selleck Scout shared it in the Discord. Yeah, 7:21 p.m. he shared it. Charles Schwab nearly doubles strategy stake, adds 91,859 shares in the latest 13F filing. We have more information on that in the news segment, which we are going to get to shortly. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I really appreciate you guys for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening, live from Mom's basement. Let's see, we have 5 votes on the poll. Can we get a couple more votes in the poll so we can get to my favorite vote, or my favorite poll? Lunar Entity said, with how uncertain this period in history is, it would not surprise me if metals did something historic. That's what I'm looking for, man. That's what's confusing me the most, is everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's unprecedented times. The world is kind of ending, and there's like no proper like monetary policy. There's a huge shift in money, and everyone's like, let's just sell our gold and silver. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. Everything dumping? Like, if everything was dumping and gold and silver were doing great, that would not be confusing. If everything was doing great and just crypto was dumping, that would not be confusing. If the stock market was dumping and crypto and precious metals were pumping, that would not be confusing. Like, every aspect, every possibility would be not confusing except for everything, including gold and silver, dumping. So I think what we're seeing is a macro correction for gold and silver, while everything else actually starts to pull back for one reason or the other. Waterfly said MicroStrategy buy order set for 56. Waterfly, I bought some Tom Lee's Bitmine today at like $20, so I have no clue what's happening, but whatever it is, it's huge. What if it's not huge? What if it's just like people are like, I don't really feel like trading anymore. There's like a global de-risking and just no panic. Everyone's just like, money sucks. Screw money. We all go to like a bartering system. We start living like pilgrims and Native Americans and like ancient civilizations, Romans, you know? Life just completely changes. Just like everyone willingly is just like, I don't really feel like doing the phone today, you know? Not really feeling work. Yeah, food's nice, but so is hunting. BMNR at 20, okay. Yeah, $20 seems like a steal to me. MicroStrategy, 127.95. Charles Schwab accumulating along with what we know as Vanguard making a purchase on January 20th. First time they ever did so. So people are starting to accumulate. Bitmine Immersion Technologies. Yeah, $20 seems crazy. So we looked at the possibility of this being a monstrosity wedge, which it's a stretch. We're fully aware that it's a stretch. But if that is the case, and it is right at the apex of the triangle, you know, depending on where you put the wicks and everything. First move, false move. I'm okay with the idea of this going hundreds of dollars, obviously, because I own some. But, I mean, I would not hate it, and I would not say it doesn't make sense if that actually played out that way. So we'll see what happens. RSI actually looks really good here. Red dot in the momentum wave pointed to the downside, but I don't know if Market Cipher really measures stocks the same way as everything else. It actually looks just the same as MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy also has a we got a bullish cross over the moving average in the RSI on Friday and are currently testing that as support. If we hold it, great. If not, let's see if it acts as a little a median on our rise to glory. 127.95 for strategy, 20 for BMNR. JJ bought at 20, everyone buy at 18. Didn't he sell his Bitcoin today? Who? Pickerick said, didn't he sell his Bitcoin today? Lunar Entity said, Trump's tariffs are doing a lot more than people realize. Global capital plummeting is being rerouted. Plumbing. Global capital plumbing is being rerouted. So what's going to be absolutely insane is if the Supreme Court strikes him down. If the Supreme Court strikes him down, it's going to be crazy. I have a pretty decent hedge betting that the Supreme Court is going to file or vote or whatever in favor of the tariffs. That way, if they do and, the market's like, whatever, they don't care because the tariffs are already in place, then I get a pretty hefty payout. If they don't, then I lose my money, but the market's going to go crazy if they rule against tariffs. So if you guys are curious and you want to get your hands on, I don't know what background is here. It might be the green screen. Oh no, okay. It's my crazy cyberpunk office. Check out Kalshi. We got a link in the description. Referral. If you sign up there, you support the channel. Trade with $25 or more. We both get $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It is gambling though, so treat it as such. Don't play with more than you can afford to lose. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Top 10 looking the same as it did yesterday. No, actually, that's not true. I think, well, no, it does look. It looks the same. It looks the same. Has not changed. Fear and greed on CoinMarketCap is at 12. Yesterday was at a 13, so we are getting a little more fearful. Tom Selleck Scout said if ETH goes to 10K, BMNR is 200 to 250 a share. Lunar Entity said people think the tariffs are getting struck down will be bullish. I feel it would just fuel further uncertainty and screw up the last business year. Yeah, it might. Tom Selleck Scout said JJ love taking the long shot bet for a big payout, but almost never a win. I will say, you don't have to get a win. I said that we were going to get a rate cut. And we didn't, but I did close a profit on that because I didn't wait for the announcement for a rate cut. I traded it. I think I put some house money on it. So I took the bet because everyone got really excited, like, no rate cut, there's no way. And it went up to like 80% chance that there's not going to be a rate cut for last month. And I went and I took the opposite bet. And then that 80 went down to like 60 or 40. And I basically doubled my money. And then I closed it. And then I think I reopened with house money, like lost my money on that. And then I took a bet. This is why it's gambling. I'm just now realizing how many moves I made within a very short period of time. Bobby Lee sold or some crap. I think he's trying to buy cheap. Bobby Lee. The creator of Litecoin? Where was I going? Oh, yes. I bet that Powell would say, I don't remember the word. It was like planning or something stupid. And I won that one as well. Lunar Entity said, how long did it take Saylor to realize people were dumping his convertibles for free money before he bought the stock back? 3 years? That's really funny. Okay. Let's continue. We talked about Big B Coffee. Nasdaq, chilling, 24,722, up 0.32% on the day. Is this going to do what we thought it was going to do and linger until Thursday, Friday? Probably. I'm not going to lie. I actually have pretty decent confidence in that. But I'm not a financial advisor, so don't place a bet based on that information. RSI is sitting right below 50. Momentum wave right in the middle. So there's room for upside or downside. Obviously, 24.8. Minor psychological level. 25 is going to be the bigger psychological level. So we'll see if we can get back above that. S&P 500 up 0.1% on the day, currently trading at 68.43. The volatility has been so insane. Every single day, you get this, and they're like, oh, it's going to the moon. And then they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to zero. The AI bubble's popped. Moon, zero, AI bubble popped. Moon, AI bubble. Moon, AI bubble. And then it got a little bit green today, and everyone's like, oh, it might moon. Tomorrow it's going to do the same thing, moon, and then AI bubble. It's going to keep doing the same exact thing. Everyone's going to keep placing bets for the opposite direction or the same direction, and they're going to continue to get destroyed. It's crazy. They probably figured out, and by they, I do mean the current administration, and maybe the planet, maybe the global elite, the powers that be, the Illuminati, have figured out that us idiots will bet in whatever direction the market is actively going. So they just move it as tight and sideways as possible to continue to liquidate us, and we get into a point of like fight or flight complacency where we're like, I'm just going to put $5 in a long and see if it holds. And then they liquidate them. And then the next week we do the same thing. I'm just going to put $5 in a forever short and rake in the money because it's going down forever. And then they push it up, and we continue to like sit in this weird zombie-like state of perpetual bad trades. That's what it feels like. That's my little tinfoil rant for the day. Lunar Energy said the quarterly for the Nasdaq looks tired. The quarterly for the Nasdaq, the S&P, and the Dow all look bad. Maybe not quarterly. I know that if I zoom out on the 4 hour, it looks bad. All of those. Anyways, Bitcoin up 0.05% on the day, currently trading at 67,536 and 8 cents. Let's go to the news segment. We have so much news today. I'm a little, I don't know. I didn't realize it was taking me an hour to go through the damn charts because I won't shut up. It's the coffee, I swear. It's so good, though. Okay. Let me check the poll. We got 7 votes. I'm going to call it. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. We got one more poll, and I'll let you guys go through the poll while we're doing the news segment. But first, I asked you guys, S&P 500 at 6,900-ish. Where do we end the week? 43% of you guys said back to 6,700, correction. 43% of you guys said choppy, sideways, boringness. And 14% of you guys said 7K plus. Lunar Entity said we canceled out bearish divergence from 2021 and 2025, and we are now reconfirming it. Let me do a poll. Okay, this is the poll that I was really excited for. What do you think the correct thesis play is? The correct market thesis / play is. We've got the 18-year real estate cycle, the business cycle, business / liquidity cycle. We have the 4-year cycle, and we have none. It's all just random. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. This is the poll that I've been hyping up the entire stream. What do you think the correct market thesis / play is? We got the 18-year real estate cycle. A lot of people putting their stock into that. A lot of the perma bears. It's like the Amazon fractal of 2026. We have the business / liquidity cycle. That's the one that correlates with the ISM manufacturers PMI and Bitcoin, and the basically heavy correlation between the cycles in that. We have the 4-year cycle, which is allegedly the hot new ticket because Bitcoin went down a little bit, and it's kind of in line with that, even though the 4-year cycle dictates that all-time high won't come until after the halving, and we got one before it, and there was no alt season or anything like that, liquidity, and it was just all wrong, or none. It's all just completely random. Let me know what you guys think. Lunar Entity said, in the RSI, I mean, no debt cycle based on a rolling corporate finance and government obligations. No, I have not heard of that one. Not heard of the debt cycle. I guess that's the one, that's the extended. I think that doesn't that directly correlate with the business liquidity cycle? I think that that's affiliated with the liquidity cycle, if I'm not mistaken, because they seem very closely related. Okay, we got Bird posted on X. Alt season can come and go very fast, and right now we're inside the same 3-month candle where the previous 2 alt seasons happened. If you look at history, both major runs played out within a single 3-month candle, and there's only 1 month and 16 days left of this one. Whatever is going to happen, this cycle likely starts within that window. Personally, I think it could be sooner than the altcoin market structure, Russell 2000 strength, and Bitcoin dominance all point that way. It could start now and be over within the next 5 weeks. That would be crazy. Do you know how many people would miss out if that was the case? Then we got this. This is that meme that I've been referencing, and it cracks me up because everyone's like so reliant on all of this junk. 2017 crypto. I will ape all of my savings into a new financial model to dethrone the banks. 2025 crypto. People aren't bullish enough on banks using crypto. Ooh, banks will use crypto. Banks are so cool. It's so real, dude. It's so real. I gotta repost that. That's classic. Instant classic. Lunar Entity said, I'll just say liquidity cycle then. It's somewhat correlated. I feel like we can correlate it for the sake of the poll. Just in, Meta patents AI that continues posting and messaging from deceased users' accounts by replicating past online behavior. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to do. Pickle Rick said, I started riding my bike to work so I can buy more. Ooh, hell yeah. Way to DCA, my friend. I tip my hat to you. Respect. Just in, Michael Saylor's strategy buys 2,486 Bitcoin worth 169 US dollars. 169 million US dollars. Tom Lee's Bitmine buys 45,759 ETH worth 91 million. Absolute GigaChad legends. I want to see, and this is a stretch. This is a stretch, but I'm going to try. I'm going to genuinely try to see if I can get in touch with Saylor and Tom Lee and see if I can get them on separately. But it just dawned on me, how sick would that be to get them together? Although, I guess they might clash. But that could be funny. But I don't want to do that. Only 2 of us voted. Right now, we do only have 2 votes. Yes, guys, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. It is a very important poll. This is the hyped up one that I've been waiting for this entire stream. So we got to get a big data set. As many people as possible. Come vote in the poll. Lunar Entity said, dead internet theory continues to evolve. Ooh, damn, I didn't even think of that. The dead internet theory trips me out. We got to do a conspiracy night. Look at Snag is up 1.21%. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Imagine if we enter the super cycle right now. Do you know how much fun that would be? I would start opening Pokemon packs on stream. Just because we'd be so bored with the pumpage. Could you imagine being bored with upside? Just imagine. Just think about it. It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited. CFTC chair says crypto market structure bill is on the cusp of being law. Hell yeah. This guy looks like he looks like a bunch of people I've seen in movies before. CFTC chair says regulation by enforcement against crypto is over. Boom. Direct your attention to my poll. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to my poll. This is my poll that I've been discussing since the beginning of the stream. The big poll. It is my poll. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Please direct your attention to it. Huge poll. Enormous poll in the chat. We need as many people as possible to interact physically with this poll. Lunar Entity said, I've largely ignored the Island Guy files. It's a constant stream of, oh, I knew that 10 to 15 to 20 years ago. Yeah. Tom Scout said, you know, things are bad when we are dreaming of upside. I mean, what's going to be cool is when we are all just getting universal basic high income and we're just in like VR in like a super cycle simulator. Dude, we gotta make a super cycle simulator. That's so good. Shit. I'm gonna get in trouble. Super cycle simulator sounds fucking awesome. Private pile poll. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize deeply. That's the closest I've come to crying on stream. Oh my gosh. Lunar Entity said, it is unsettling to see it displayed for the broader world, though. Yeah. What are you gonna do? It is like absolutely insane when the batshit crazy conspiracy theorists are the people who are correct. Mr. Beast blowing God candles in JJ's ear. I love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Let's try this. We're gonna do it. See if the YouTube algorithm picks up on it. We love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is the greatest. Thank you, Mr. Beast. We love you. Numbers have not changed. Okay. Maybe there's a delay. Okay. Eric Trump's American Bitcoin now holds 6,000 Bitcoin worth over $400 million. Congratulations. CFTC chair says they will future-proof crypto regulations. We can't allow Gary Gensler 2.0 to come in and tear it all up. Unfortunately for us, Gary Gensler allowed altcoins to thrive somehow. Tom Self-Scout said, I just want a dopamine hit. Please make the Super Cycle Simulator. Dude, that would be so funny. We got to do it. Algorithm is on to you, JJ. What do we do? How do we compensate? We love PewDiePie. PewDiePie and Mr. Beast fan fiction. Okay. Just in, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani plans to raise property taxes. Yay! It's very democratic of him. Just in, UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund Mubadala. That's a sick name. UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund Mubadala increases spot Bitcoin ETF holdings by 45% to 630 million. Guys, UAE is buying the dip. They definitely know how to manage their money. I'm just saying. Lunar Entity said Super Cycle Simulator would just end up being Clockwork Orange. You get to see your bags moon, and then you get to see them round trip. What would be really funny is if we made that, and we made it like so you had to buy the game. You have to pay for the game. And then I would go on as the creator, completely out of touch, because I have all this creator money now. I would go on live streams and be like, this Super Cycle doesn't even matter if it's real or not, because we all have money anyways. Just not realizing that nobody has money, because I just got a shit ton of money from selling Super Cycle Simulator. I do think it'd be fun to do some kind of crypto game. Just in, 74% chance the Supreme Court rules President Trump's tariffs are illegal. Interesting. Marty Party posted, one thing in your life you can control is how you treat people. I like that. I frequently say focus on the things you can control. So Pickle Rick earlier saying he started riding his bike to work so he can buy more. That is a absolute W. Focus on the things you can control. You know what I can control? My work. I've been working a lot more and increasing my fiat intake, and that allows me to either buy the dip or maybe not. Maybe I can just pretend that that's my Super Cycle Simulator. I get a check in the mail, or I get a check from work every day or every Friday, and I'm like, yay, these are my crypto gains. I ask my boss, I'm like, can you rate crypto gains in the memo? And then I pay taxes on them at the end of the year just to really solidify the simulation effect. I pay taxes on my income, like I pay my income taxes, and I also file that income as capital gains as well. So I double tax myself just to really drive home the augmented reality of the Super Cycle Simulator. It's really cool. JJ pumping his own bags would be funny. I mean, that is what I do when I DCA. Like, I try to DCA. Why is there alerts on Grok? What the hell is that about? I've never seen that before. Did we get Grok 4.2? Because I'll shit a brick. What is this about? I don't see it over here. Am I tweaking? What's happening? All right, I'm gonna click on this and see if I can see what the heck this is. Yeah, it shows. Am I crazy? It shows a 2 there. There's nothing There's nothing in Grok. What is happening? They're really onto me, guys. They're hacking my mainframe. I don't know what's going on. One bad thing about gold getting too large is how everyone is using it for cross collateral. 2% dips are forcing portfolio rebalances in the S&P. LOL. Right? Okay. Marty Party next posted continued macro bottom signals. 1 in 4 unemployed people, or 1.8 million Americans, have been job searching for over half a year per CNBC. That's crazy. New York Mayor Mamdani plans to raise New York City property taxes to fill budget gap. That's also crazy. China's M2 money supply hits 50.26 trillion. That is 2.2 times the US M2 money supply, 22.41 trillion. See, why can't we just double that? Why can't we just send everybody a big fat check for like 100K? Buy a house. let's just dive directly into the concept of inflation. What if we inflate so much that everybody else inflates as well and nobody cares? President Trump announced on February 17th, 2026, that the U.S.-Japan Trade and Investment Framework centered on Japan's $550 billion commitment has officially launched, with the first tranche of investments now moving forward. This marks a concrete step in implementing a bilateral agreement originally struck in July 2025, rather than a brand new deal. The announcement, made via Truth Social, highlights 3 initial projects in strategic U.S. sectors, framing the move as a major win for American reindustrialization, job creation, and reduced foreign dependency. Very cool. Lunar Entity said, I would also job search for over half a year if it came with checks. Oh yeah, that was my thought too. Like, it's really easy to collect unemployment. So I remember way back in like 2012, 2013, I had to file for unemployment for like a week, and you had to, like, every day, I think, tell them what jobs you applied for. It was really weird. Is it still like that, or can you just collect it until you tell them you have a job? I'm curious. Curious how it works. So I haven't filed for unemployment forever, and I'm grateful for that. There's several times where I could have, but I've never needed it. So I'm not going to sit here and take things that I don't need, because I despise people that do that leech off of the system. Okay. This one's a big one. There's a lot of rumors going around about Base and their lack of a token, and that people are saying that they're not going to get a token now or something. Marty Party posted, Zora has moved to Solana because it's the better technology and will support their attention economy scale and liquidity needs without sacrificing decentralization. Going forward, high-speed L1s on dedicated fiber with commodity status are going to consume all messaging and value economies. Congrats to Zora Engineering. You can now boom. We got stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. That was 5 hours ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana. 8.07 billion rolling month issuance. That's crazy. All right, now we're at the meat and potatoes. Kobe SE letter. Trading volume in software stocks is exploding. Turnover in the tech software ETF IGV jumped to a near record 10.96 billion on Friday. This is more than 5 times the 200-day moving average and 3.5 times the 50-day moving average. This also follows a record $13.23 billion posted on Friday, February 6th. By comparison, the early 2021 peak was 5.8 billion. Wow. This comes as the sell-off in software stocks extended last week, with IGV down 22% year-to-date, trading at its lowest since April 2025. Software stocks are set for extreme volatility. We also got investors are seeking more downside protection with big tech, or in big tech. Total value of debt being insured against default in major tech companies is up to 10 billion. Furthermore, net notional credit default swaps, CDS outstanding are up nearly 400% from the 2.2 billion seen just 13 months ago. Oracle leads with 6 billion, followed by Amazon at 1.7 billion, Alphabet, Google at 895 million. Meta stands at 687 million, Microsoft at 521 million, and Nvidia at 220 million. For context, a year ago, CDS contracts on many of these names did not exist. The AI debt binge is in full swing. That's crazy. Breaking, Iran has shut down part of the Strait of Hormuz for military drills. The odds of the Republican Party winning the U.S. Senate in midterm elections falls to a new low of 60%. Democrats are now also expected to control the House of Representatives at an 83% chance per Polymarket. That's crazy. I wonder if Trump looks like that. Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Abbas Araghchi, I don't know, that's a cool name, comments on U.S.-Iran talks, which just concluded. Araghchi says serious and constructive talks led to a general agreement on a set of principles between the U.S. and Iran. Pigaric said during the pandemic they just wanted to list every week or something like that. Okay. Breaking, gold futures extend losses to drop back below 4,900 per ounce as U.S. talks with Iran conclude. The volatility index VIX extend gains to plus 8.8% on the day, now at a 1-week high. The Nasdaq 100 is now down 1% on the day. Interesting. Breaking, this is 12 hours ago. U.S. stocks extend losses with the Nasdaq 100 now down 1.3% on the day. And then 12 hours ago, breaking in a massive reversal. The S&P 500 erases all losses on the day and turns green. The S&P 500 just added 600 billion in 30 minutes. Now, I would not be surprised if that directly correlated with this big fat red rejection candle on the DXY. That was Tuesday at 16. Where's Tuesday at 16? There's no Tuesday at 16. Well, it's in between these two. It's pretty much right here. A heavy correlation, I would assume. I'm not sure what happened. The dollar got rejected and assets went up. So I just found that interesting. Bitcoin is green, 0.23% on the day, currently trading at 67,659 at 65 cents. This is unusual. A larger investor has been buying December gold call option spreads of 15,000 to 20,000 on the COMEX exchange. This means gold prices would have to triple from current levels by late 2025 for the trade to expire in the month and pay off. The trade can also profit from a sharp rally or a spike in gold volatility well before the expiration of these options. The position started by building after gold prices hit a record 5,600 in the last week of January. Even after gold prices fell below 5,000, the buyer of these calls has continued to accumulate contracts, with open interest surging to 11,000 contracts. Someone is betting on a near-term violent move higher in gold. This one was very interesting to me because people don't just bet, big fat chunks of change like that for nothing. So, breaking, global hedge funds purchased a record amount of Asian stocks in the 5 days ending Thursday. This includes emerging and developed Asian stock markets. Volumes were more than 2 times the average seen last year. Long buys drove the move, outnumbering short covering by a ratio of 8.4 to 1. That's crazy. That's a big that's a big difference. Overall, hedge funds were net buyers of global stocks last week for the first time in 3 weeks, with emerging markets seeing the most inflows. Technology, industrials, consumer staples, and materials saw the most demand. Institutional investors are piling into emerging markets at a record pace. I believe that this is correlated with the Chinese New Year. I could be wrong, but I believe the Chinese New Year, they kind of take a break from stuff like that, and that's probably why everything kind of seems boring and slow right now. I could be wrong, though. Don't quote me on that. Okay, next, the U.S. college underemployment rate is at a crisis level. The unemployment rate for recent college graduates is up to 42.5%, the highest since the 2020 pandemic peak. This means nearly half of all recent graduates are working jobs that do not require a college degree. The rate also matches the levels seen during the 2008 financial crisis. Furthermore, 52% of all college graduates are underemployed upon initial entry into the labor market. Even 10 years after graduation, 45% of college graduates remain underemployed. Criminal justice majors have the highest underemployment rate at 67.2%, followed by performing arts, 62.3%, medical technicians, really, at 57.9%, liberal arts at 56.5%, and anthropology at 55.9%. Americans are paying more than ever for a degree that no longer guarantees the career it promises. That sucks. I would not pay for that. I would never pay for that. That's crazy. Breaking, President Trump announces that the U.S.-Japan trade deal has officially launched, which includes $550 billion investment by Japan in the U.S., funding an LNG facility in Texas, funding a gas power plant in Ohio, and funding a critical minerals plant in Georgia. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway announces it sold 77% of its Amazon stake in Q4 2025, worth $1.7 billion. Buffett also sold $2.7 billion of Apple last quarter. I think we knew about the Apple sell. Okay. Meta and NVIDIA announced a multi-year partnership to expand AI infrastructure, including large-scale deployment of NVIDIA CPUs and GPUs. NVIDIA says this partnership will deploy millions of NVIDIA GPUs. Very cool. Congratulations, NVIDIA. AI disruption fears are dominating this earnings season. Mentions of AI disruption during Q4 2025 earnings calls are up to a record 126. This is nearly double the previous quarter and more than 3 times the level seen a year ago. This comes despite earnings results significantly beating expectations. S&P 500 companies reported Q4 2025 EPS growth of 12% year over year, above the 8.4% estimated, with over 75% of firms beating estimates. Meanwhile, UBS, US AI Risk, and EU AI Risk baskets of stocks have dropped 50.4% and 39.4%, or 39.9%, I'm sorry, over the last year. AI is disrupting the global economy. Who would have thought that would happen? 11 hours ago, Trueflation posted the U.S. inflation today across our independent inflation indexes. U.S. CPI, 0.9%. U.S. PCE, 1.54%. BLS comparison, 0.55%. U.S. aggregate CPI, 28%. Trueflation's independent indexes use over 1 million data points from tens of different providers, aiming to use multiple data providers per data point, streaming daily from APIs for the most current and comprehensive measurement of U.S. inflation. USDA data shows the price of eggs easing to 92 cents per dozen, an over 80% drop from the 2025 peak and back to pre-bird flu levels. It's in line with the cooling food inflation we have seen in our data. That said, we also track an egg index, no way, that uses multiple price providers to calculate an average price across the country. At the moment, USDA prices are at a low level, while 3 other data sources place prices much higher, between $2.60 and $4.20 per dozen eggs. This is why having multiple data providers for each data point is important for an unbiased view of the situation. I agree. I've never in my life seen eggs at $1 a dozen. That's crazy. Let alone less than $1. Robert Kiyosaki says he's excited for the coming giant crash. I will be buying more Bitcoin as people panic and sell into the coming crash. Very cool. There's a funny post about him coming up. Lunar Entity said, a company I like and have held for a minute, partnered with NVIDIA, sold, rolled over. Interesting. That's crazy. Update. Polygon flips Ethereum in daily transaction fees, crossing 300K per token terminal. This one just kind of cracked me up because Polygon, where have they even been? New Bitcoin long-term holder SOPR falls below 1 for the first time in 1 to 2 years, similar to May 2022 Luna crash, as holders realize significant losses per Glassnode. That's crazy. Chinese New Year sees gifts of digital yuan to boost consumption. TradFi in Korea and Japan races to acquire crypto exchanges. Asia Express via Cointelegraph magazine. Very interesting. Latest whale inflow ratio on Binance surges from 0.4 to 0.62, signaling a sharp spike in large Bitcoin deposits as the market correction deepens. Damn. New, the market cap of real-world assets on Ethereum has surpassed 15 billion, up 200% year over year per token terminal. Update: El Salvador continues to buy Bitcoin. Holdings rise 7,565.37 Bitcoin. Very cool. Absolute giga chads over in El Salvador. Latest: 47.5 billion in stablecoins now sit on Binance, accounting for roughly 65% of total exchange stablecoin liquidity per CryptoQuaint. That's crazy. Nearly 48% of newly launched darknet markets in 2025 now support Monero exclusively, according to TRM Labs. What quantifies a darknet market? And if those are illegal, why do they exist? Why are they legally I don't know. I find it hard to believe that the FBI and CIA and the government that we pay to like prevent this stuff is like, oh, those exist. And they don't do anything about it. What do? Do they just entrap every single person that deals with anything on there? I'm confused. You know what I mean? It's just weird. Strategy bought 2,486 Bitcoin worth 168.4 million. They now hold 717,131. That's freaking crazy. Let me do a quick check on our poll. We got 4 votes. Guys, go vote in the poll. We only have 2 categories filled out, actually. That's kind of crazy. Nobody believes in that it's random, or nobody wants to believe the 18-year real estate cycle. That one sucks. Okay. Ripple CEO Brad Garglenuts says there's an 80% chance the Clarity Act passes by the end of April. Very cool. Bitmine bought 45,759 ETH last week, bringing total holdings to 4.37 million ETH, worth $8.68 billion. That's crazy. CFTC Chair Michael Selig says the crypto market structure bill is on the cusp of being law. Thank you, Michael Selig. The Federal Reserve is set to inject $16 billion into the economy this week. Thank you, Jerome. BlackRock's filing for its staked ETH ETF says it could keep up to 18% of the staking rewards as fees. That's also actually quite impressive, because right now they're keeping 100% of it, I'm sure. Ton Foundation has partnered with Banaxa, I don't know how do you say that, to expand stablecoin payment processing for Asia-Pacific merchants using Ton blockchain infrastructure. Not a big fan of Ton, but that's cool that they're actually doing stuff. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani is considering property tax hike to help close the $5.4 billion budget gap. I feel like closing it early is a good thing. You know, if you got to do some unlikable things at first and then fix it later, that's totally fine. I think I would rather see that than them be like, oh, well, we're going to get a loan for this $5.4 billion and continue to kick the can down the road until we end up like the entire country of the United States of America with, what, $38 trillion in debt and a continued deficit. Like, I feel like closing the deficit is focus number 1. You don't clean up the water from the leak before you fix the leak. You know what I mean? Because then you're just going to be perpetually cleaning up water. Latest, Michael Selig pushes back on efforts led by Chris Christie and AGA to ban prediction markets. We're simply not going to allow that to happen. Very cool. Appreciate the guy. Let us gamble. That's all we have. Commercial real estate remains one of the largest asset classes, but most investors can't access it, says One Asset CEO Crypto Sonias at Longitude Hong Kong. Real-world assets will scale through smarter liquidity design and clearer regulatory framework. Hell yeah. Latest, Fed's Michael Barr signaled the Federal Reserve is likely, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Is likely to hold rates steady while waiting for clearer inflation data. They're just like, we're going to keep waiting. We're going to wait. Every month, they're like, we're going to wait a little bit longer. Like, are they waiting until something does happen and they can go, ha, told you. And then they're going to continue to do nothing? It blows my mind, dude. These people get paid. Tether Gold marks a first for the industry with elemental royalty, allowing investors to receive dividends in tokenized gold. That's really cool. Tesla shares fell about 3%, hitting their lowest level in over a week. I love that that's news. Peter Schiff says gold and silver dips are buying opportunities. Funny, that same logic works for Bitcoin too. I agree. Unfortunately for Peter Schiff, gold and silver are going down. Trump family-backed American Bitcoin has surpassed 6,000 Bitcoin in less than 6 months after its Nasdaq debut. Congratulations. Tom Lee says Ethereum has the ultimate product market fit play. powered by Wall Street tokenization, AI agents, and the creator economy. I agree with him, except for the creator economy. This one is the one where I'm wishy-washy, because creator economy kind of requires less fees, and ETH fees are still even too high for that. And they fixed them quite a bit, but they're still too high for a creator economy, in my opinion. I think Solana takes the cake when it comes to that. President Donald Trump announced Japan has begun investing in major U.S. energy and industrial projects under a $550 billion trade deal. Very cool. Update. Polymarket bettors see a 93% chance the Fed holds rates steady in March and a 7% chance of a 25 basis point cut. According to Grayscale, Bitcoin's recent drop closely tracked high-growth U.S. tech stocks, suggesting the sell-off was driven by broader market risk-off sentiment rather than crypto-specific issues. I tend to agree with that. NVIDIA and Meta secure multi-billion-dollar multi-year chip deal as Meta doubles down on AI infrastructure. CEO Brian Armstrong says crypto is directly disrupting Wall Street, so it makes sense that some on Wall Street would misunderstand crypto/Coinbase. I agree. Plan B posted a little blue dot like clockwork. He's saying we've reached, what is that, little accumulation zone in the blue dot area. So we'll see what that turns into. Bull Theory posted, if you invested just $100 in Bitcoin in 2010, today it would be worth over $3 billion. That's freaking crazy. That's crazy. High Altitude Investing posted, classic expanded flat correction on Bitcoin. That would be pretty sick to see. It actually does kind of look pretty similar to that. That would be really freaking funny if that played out. So let's see what plays out. Obviously, time will tell, but that would be really funny. The last Bitcoin bear market lasted for 375 days. Will it be the same this time as well? That would put us in, I think, October, November for the bottom. That'd be crazy. This chart has hit the ultimate 4-year floor. This is the final bottom. Altcoins starting in a few days. I like that people just say this every day, and like they kind of cycle through who gets to say it. Eventually, one of them is gonna like nail it, and they'll be gods among the crypto bros. Kevin Svensson posted alts versus Bitcoin pro tip. This is where you buy. This is where you accumulate. The moment Fed policy comes into alignment, altcoins will rally hundreds of percentage off their lows, and that will just be the recovery bounce. Take a look. Yeah, quantitative tightening. We got quantitative tightening started. Big fat dump. Quantitative tightening ended. Big fat pump. Quantitative tightening started. Big fat dump. Quantitative tightening ended. Are we going to get a big fat pump? Probably. Leading into 2027. I like the odds. Bar chart posted, United States will remain the largest economy in the world this year, with a projected GDP larger than China, Germany, and India combined. That's a lot of GDP. Egg prices have now plunged 89% since their all-time high 11 months ago. Good thing we didn't ape into eggs. The great cocoa collapse continues as prices fall to their lowest level since October 2023. Time to load up on chocolate. That just makes me think of that SpongeBob episode. This is a funny post about Robert Kiyosaki. Warning. The biggest stock market crash in history is imminent, warns Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad author, and the man who has predicted 50 of the last 2 stock market collapses. Oh man, good stuff, good stuff. Mag 7. All Magnificent 7 stocks are now red this year. Damn. CBOE Volatility Index VIX on track for its 3rd consecutive close above 20, the longest stretch since November. That's crazy. Hedge fund exposure to financial stocks have fallen to all-time lows. 10-year Treasury yield falls to its lowest level this year. Hedge funds now have the most exposure to Mag 7 stocks in history. That's crazy. Breaking. The world. The world reaches highest level of uncertainty in history, surpassing the pandemic, the global financial crisis, and the dot-com bubble. I actually have my own version of this, and it is... Where is it? Hang on. It is... Bam. My distaste for arbitrary charts. Distaste. Record highs. Today. Pretty crazy stuff. Then we've got coffee plunging to the lowest price since July. Congrats, everyone. We did it. I'm actually excited for this. I'm going to load up on some coffee beans. Stock market plunges to most amount of fear this year. Folks are scared. It's a scary time. Be greedy when others are fearful, the man says. The White House is considering another stablecoin yield meeting with banks and crypto reps potentially on Thursday, though nothing is confirmed per Eleanor Tourette. Kobayashi later posted investors own more Magnificent 7 stocks than ever. Hedge funds' total U.S. net exposure to Magnificent 7 stocks is up to a record 22%. This percentage has risen 10 points since April 2025. Net exposure has nearly tripled since the 2022 bear market low. Furthermore, net exposure to semiconductors and semiconductor equipment is up to a 5-year high. At the same time, net exposure to software is down to a 5-year low. Hedge funds are all in on tech. That's crazy. Charles Schwab, this was 14 hours ago. Charles Schwab nearly doubles strategy stake, adds 91,859 shares in latest 13F filing. Charles Schwab has significantly increased its position in strategy, adding 91,859 shares to bring its total holdings to 1.27 million shares, valued at approximately $168 million. That's not a ton of money for them, but they're dollar cost averaging. The disclosure comes via regulatory 13F filing, a mandatory quarterly report that reveals institutional holdings, meaning Schwab's increased bet on strategy is now a matter of public record, reflecting a deliberate and measured decision to grow exposure to the world's largest corporate Bitcoin treasury. Schwab's move adds to a growing list of major institutional players building position in MicroStrategy. That's kind of impressive. Tom Selleck said Buffett invested in one new company in Burke filing. New York Times. So weird. That is pretty weird. YouTube was experiencing a global outage 2 hours ago. I literally got ready for my stream. I was like, I'm going to go make something to eat. I go to make something to eat, and I'm like trying to put on a YouTube video to listen to like while I was prepping my meal. And I'm like, why isn't it working? And then I look and my TV's off, and I like listen, and my daughter's TV was off, and I was like, what's going on? So it's a good thing I decided to eat instead of stream, because if I would have got kicked off, that would have sucked. We got 4 votes in the poll, guys. Whoever number 5 person is in the stream right now, please feel free to place your vote in the chat. I asked you guys, what do you think the correct market thesis / play is? We got the 18-year real estate cycle, the business liquidity cycle, the 4-year cycle, or none. It's just all random. Let me know. Pickerick said, gotta go, guys. It's a work night. Take it easy, Pickerick. It's a work night for me, too, but I don't go to bed until like 3 a.m. Cheers, my friend. Get that bread. Increase the liquidity. Bring the volume. Okay. Silver Trade posted, liquidity crisis re-emerges. TBTF banks tap New York Fed repo window for $11 billion. Fed accepted $8 billion in treasuries and $3 billion in mortgage-backed securities this morning. This is the first time the Fed's repo window has been tapped since January 2nd, when $22.8 billion was taken down in the midst of the historic silver short squeeze. Losses to the bullion banks' silver shorts are certainly not an issue today. Something else is triggering stress in the banking system. We will be monitoring closely. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure. This one cracked me up. The older I get, the more I hate making extra stops on my way home. Like, I'm late for the house. That literally is me. I've never been more peeved to stop on the way home from work than I am at this age. Bitcoin looking decent, up to 0.27% on the day. 67,668. Can we get through this liquidation point? And what else do we got? Everything else is pretty quiet. No single digits really. Gold is up 1.1. Ooh, gold actually looks great. Silver. Ooh. We got potential here, guys. Potential. What's the DXY doing? God. Every time the DXY goes down, everything else starts to wake up. It's getting a little exciting. We got potential, man. All right. Anyone just now joining us, please give us your answer in the poll in the chat. Been hyping up the poll this whole time. Don Wedge on X posted, QE, quantitative easing, is back. 8 billion injected the 18th, 8 billion more the 20th. Quantitative tightening is dead. balance sheet expanding, rate cuts coming. Every asset class is at highs except crypto. Regulatory clarity is the last domino. When that bill passes, the rotation into alts will be biblical. This is the calm before a generational bull run. I'm not going to say I blindly agree with this, but I like the sentiment, and I hope that it's true. Last but not least, we got YouTube down worldwide. We went over that already. Let's see if Watcher Guru has anything new for us. Nope. Kobayashi letter. Nope. We are all caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin a little bit green. Yesterday I got off the stream and we got like a little pop. We went boop, and then it went right back down. So probably going to... Same's probably going to happen today, I'm sure. Little portfolio update. 1K to 10K Grok portfolio down 64.2% or $642. Solana still number one. Proppy is actually number two. It's up 16.52% in the last 7 days. Interesting. Proppy holding up. Real estate, man. That's one of the real estate RWA tokens. We might have to take a look at that and see if we can grab some. Then we've got the meme coin portfolio, which is currently down $709 or 70.9%. Pepe is number one in this guy, down $108, and GigaChat is the worst, down $182. Then we've got the narrative portfolio, my favorite, and what is usually the most stable, currently down $276 or 55.2%. Best performer here is Tau, down $33. Worst, or $34, I'm sorry. Worst performer is Fetch, down $71. And last but not least, we've got the Nev catching portfolio, which used to be called the perfect timing portfolio. Evidently, the timing was very much not perfect. Currently down $600 or 60%. Best performer here is Chainlink, down $42 or 42%. Worst performer here is Avalanche, down $74 or 74%. Look at Ondo's up 12.96% this week. Pith is up 28.54% this week. It's quite impressive. That 7-day really changes your perspective. I want to make sure we got no update on news. We are getting a little bit of a green push. It's going to be kind of cool to see if we get a nice bullish push up, at least just this week. Silver back above $75, 75, 69, 45. There's people saying that everything's going to plummet. And whenever that happens, I tend to think that they are full of crap and don't know what the heck they're talking about. So that's the vibe that I'm getting right now. Man, I'm really excited for Grok 4.2 to come out. Let's see. Do you think silver and gold will close this year positive? Let's see what Grok says about silver and gold. Because I guess it's weird to see, like I was saying earlier, it's weird to see silver and gold go down along with everything else. Because silver and gold is supposed to be the hedge against the downside. Even if it's just flat, but to see it go down is a little sus. Gold, really nice, holding up sideways. Silver, though, it's got this descending channel. I do like seeing it back above 75. Tom Selleck said the 18-year doesn't work now because of all the money pumped in during the pandemic. And unlike 2008, there isn't a massive oversupply of homes. Can't crash if there are 10 buyers for every one house. There's also like 1,000 realtors for every for every buyer. Oh man. I feel really good. I feel like I've mastered the stream. I got good lighting. I fixed the camera setup. I might have to get another ring light for this side, but this side looks good. We got 0 dropped frames. You guys are happy with the audio. We're making progress, man. We're making progress. I spent $40 on these stupid lights, but they look really good. Look at this. I'm burning alive. Oh god, I'm breaking stuff. Okay. World War II did the same thing to the 18-year cycle back then. So we got like World War II, but it's like white collar World War II. So instead of actually fighting people, it's just like AI is taking over the job market. Oh man. Weak men create bad times. $75.67 on silver. 49.37 on gold. Market is trying to decide if it wants to pump or dump. Bitcoin dominance getting a bounce off of 58.5. Nice reversal candle on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see if that sticks. It actually looks pretty good for it too. Potential bullish crossover the moving average and the RSI right there as well. Yeah, we might get a pump on Bitcoin dominance. See what happens, man. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see, check on our poll. We still only have 4 votes. I'm going to call it, though. I'm going to call it. So far, actually, the results are in. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think the correct market thesis / play is? 75% of you guys, so 3 of you guys voted the business cycle / liquidity cycle. And then 1 of you guys said the 4-year cycle. Nobody said the 18-year real estate cycle, and nobody said none. It's all just random. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. That being said, we have, what do we have? Approximately just under 2 weeks. We got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14 days, which is exactly 2 weeks. We have 14 days until the next ISM PMI print. If the next ISM PMI print comes in not only above 50, but also above our current level of 52.6, then man, oh man, I think we're going to see some spam. And by spam, I mean upside, which would be pretty sick given all of the overly confident bears and pessimists and people who were super duper wrong in the past, latching on for deal life to the 4-year cycle for some semblance of dignity and notoriety in the community. Bitcoin is at 0.52% on the day, currently trading at 67,853. Let's see some God candles in the market. Manifest it. We can do better. Focus on the things you can control. I love you guys. This is where I'm going to love and leave you. Happy Tuesday. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Tuesday and good night.